Right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the third segment of today's show, we are going to recap the games from yesterday, and then we will go into the current standings where everything sits at this very moment. I know I touched upon it a little bit in the first segment, but we'll go over the rest of the standings. So, let's get right into it. So last night, Yankees and Red Sox, they got postponed again. So today, they got a doubleheader. Again, another doubleheader. Which, that really stinks. Because now you got to use up your bullpen. You know, one doubleheader is one thing. Now you got to do another one. I mean, it's a mess. This series has been a mess. The Yankees have taken the first two games. Right now, they both sit with the same record, and if they split, they're both going to be tied for last place. Well, right now they're still tied for last place, but if they split, then they're going to stay tied for last place. Which I just can't believe this. I mean, this used to be the class of the division, and now these teams are in last place. Tied for last place. It really just, that's another reason why the rivalry isn't the same. And by the way, that whole show is up. So I posted the individual segments separately on both the GSMC Sports Network YouTube page and the regular GSMC Podcast Network YouTube. So those are all split up. So if you don't want to watch, if you don't want to skip around through the whole show, the segments are separated. So you could go back and watch that. I'll be posting yesterday's show, reposting it, splitting up the segments into 4 individual segments on both channels as well. And it also will be up, I believe, on Spotify and where you get your podcasts, so your audio podcasts. So that's another avenue in which you can watch the show or listen to the show. Other than just coming into the live stream and listening to me talk for an hour, you could at least, if you just want to watch one segment, you can do that without having to skip around. But anyways, so yeah, Yankees and Red Sox, they split. They have a doubleheader today. Postponed yesterday, so nothing to touch upon there. So the Rays, they get to 90 wins last night. They defeated the Twins 5-4, so the Rays improved to 90 and 57 on the season. The Twins, they dropped to 76 and 70. The Rockies, they beat the Cubs again, I believe. I think, did they win yesterday too, or 2 days ago? Yes, they did. So they beat the Cubs again 7-3. So that's big, for the Cubs, because especially they're trying to keep pace with the Brewers, but the Brewers actually lost, so they didn't lose any ground there. The Giants beat the Guardians in extra innings 6-5, so they are still in it for that final wild card spot. So yeah, they won in 10 innings, and Lamonte Wade Jr. Had a sacrifice fly. Oh wait, no, well, he hit the sacrifice fly, and Patrick Bailey scored. So that's how the Giants won yesterday. So we go on. Mariners, they beat the Angels 3-2. Luis Castillo, he picked up his 13th win on the season, so he moves to 13-7 with a 3.08 ERA. And the Angels, they dropped to 11 games under 500. Pirates, they beat the Nationals 7-6. Not really much to touch upon there. Again, I said it yesterday that the Pirates, they got off to a really good start, great start, and then they kind of flamed out. Cardinals, they beat the Orioles 1-0. They blanked the Orioles yesterday. That's it's kind of surprising. So getting the win was Drew Rom, 23-year-old. He's 1-2 with a 5.96 ERA. So he picked up his first win of the season. He went 5 1/3, 3 walks, 7 Ks. And yeah, then the bullpen locked it down for the Cardinals. So the Cardinals again beat the Orioles, so that's interesting. So right now, I think the Rays are 1 game back. No, they're 2 games back. They're 3 games back in the loss column, 1 game back in the win column. I actually want to look at the remaining schedule. I think they play each other again, and they do. Starting tonight, 4-game set at Camden Yards. Rays Orioles. This is a monster series because this could basically determine what the division is going to be. Could very well do that. So that is huge. That is something to watch this weekend. So actually, before we do anything, let's look at we'll go through the scores and then we'll look at the pitching matchups for that series. So then the Reds, they pick up a big win, beat the Tigers 4-3. Braves win 4-1. So they, like I said, they clinched their NL East title. Strider 17-5 now on the season. Spencer Strider 17-5 on the season, 3.73 ERA now. Austin Riley, he had a 2-run home run, and Kevin Pillar had a 2-run double, I think. It just says Marcelo Zuna scored, but yeah. So Braves win 4-1. Oh wait, Austin Riley had a sacrifice fly. Then Kevin Pillar had a RBI double. I was looking at the wrong thing. So yeah, that's how the Braves, they won, 96 win, and they have another NL East title. Rangers all over the Blue Jays, 10-0. Jordan Montgomery picked up the win, and Kikuchi picked up the loss. So another big win for the Rangers. They're playing good baseball now. Ever since I said they were going to be on the outside looking in, they are now starting to play really good baseball, winning 5 in a row. And the Blue Jays, they are not looking good, and they got to figure some stuff out. So the Mets, they get a win, 7-1 over the Diamondbacks. Lucchesi picked up the win. That's how you pronounce it. And Zach Gallen picked up the loss. So that was also a big loss because he's trying to get the Cy Young in the National League. Justin Steele, I think, is going to get that as of right now. So his record drops to Gallen drops to 15-8, the 3.5 ERA. We touched upon this a little bit in the first segment. Astros picking up the win 6-2 over the Athletics. The A's dropped to 46-100, so they get their 100th loss on the season. So the Astros, that's a big win, get them back on the right track. Royals win last night, so right now they're 46-101, and the A's are 46-100. So we'll see who finishes with the worst record. Do they play each other anymore this season? Let's actually look. I'm gonna look right now. I don't think they do, but I'm curious. So they're off today. The A's, they play the Padres, the Mariners, Detroit, Minnesota, and the Angels. So no, they do not play each other anymore this year. So, but yeah, move on, and the Marlins, they pick up a win 2-0 over the Brewers. So the Cubs didn't lose any ground, like I said before. So that's big. And the Marlins, they needed that win because they're fighting for that wild card spot. Padres beat the Dodgers 6-1. Blake Snell picks up the win, 14-9 on the season. And Pepio takes the loss, 2-1 with a 2 ERA. And he was actually, because my show from last week, it was live, but it was private. He was one of the top performers that I was talking about, and from his last start, because he pitched very well. And I didn't have any audio because I was using a graphic. I basically just used, a screenshot from my notes on my iPhone. And he was one of the top performers, but you couldn't hear what I was saying because I didn't have any audio, which was terrible. So those are the scores. So you go to the standings. Oh, wait, actually, before we do that, let's go to the pitching matchups now, because we're going to talk about the AL East first. So right now, the Orioles are 2 games up on the Rays. So right now, the pitching matchups as they are lined up. So you have Aaron Savali and Bradish to start off the series. So that's a good pitching matchup. Then tomorrow's matchup, you have Zach Eflin against Jack Flaherty so that's for Friday. Then for Saturday, if it's up, and if I can find it, why can't I find it? Here we go. We got Tyler Glasnow and Grayson Rodriguez. So that's the third matchup. And then for Sunday, you would think that they would move it to Sunday night. Like, does it have the same rules as, well, actually, the Sunday night baseball game is actually pretty good for this week. It's the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, so that's good. But, I mean, I don't know. Would you try to flex into getting Rays Orioles? I don't know. But, so you got Dean Kramer and Zach Littell. I don't know how do you pronounce it, so I don't know if he's an opener. I don't even know who that. I'm going to be honest, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. But that's a big series. If the Rays want to take this division, they got to win 3 out of 4. So, but should be a great series. Got to pay close attention to that. But yeah, so looking at the standings. So the Orioles right now 91-54, Rays are 90-57. Rays are 2 games back. The Twins, their magic number is down to 9. They're 76-70 on the season. And when they lose, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. The Guardians are 3-7. I mean, the Guardians, they weren't going to make the playoffs as the season went along, and they traded away guys. But I mean, they still could have had a chance. It's just not playing good baseball as of late, as well. 3-7 in their last 10 games is not good. So then you move on to the AL West. And the Astros are 1 game up on the Rangers. Rangers are 6-4, have won 5 in a row in their last 10 games. Astros are 6-4 in their last 10 games, but they have a 1-game winning streak. Well, you don't even want to call it a 1-game winning streak, but yeah, they've won 1 game. They finally beat the A's. And then the Mariners are 1.5 games back. That division race is very close. And I said the Rangers might be the team on the outside looking in. And a lot of people are saying that just because of what's been going on, but they're playing really good baseball right now. And like I keep saying, it's going to come down to who's hot at the right time. So the Braves, they clinched their division. Phillies, they got the top wild card spot at the moment. Brewers are 4 games up on the Cubs. Cubs really got to narrow the gap because I would love to see that final series be what is going to dictate the division. The Dodgers, their magic number right now is at 4, so they're going to get that probably by the weekend, I would imagine. But we'll have to wait and see. And then we get to the wild card standing. So right now the Rays have the top spot, then the Rangers, then the Mariners. The Blue Jays are 1 game back, and then you got the Yankees and the Red Sox. 7.5 games back each. They're still in it, but that will come to an end very soon in the coming days. So then the National League is just where it's insane. So you got the Phillies, they're at the top. Cubs are below them. Then, as I mentioned before, you got the Diamondbacks and the Reds. They are tied for that 3rd wild card spot. And then you have the Giants and the Marlins, each a half game back. I mean, it is crazy. It is just absolutely insane what this race is going to come down to. So yeah, those are the recaps from yesterday and the standings updates. So with that, we are going to take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we'll go over the power rankings that were released earlier this week. So before that, once again, to get your comments recognized, make sure to go to, and to donate and tips, make sure to go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And if you want to support the show on Patreon, go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so with that, I'm going to take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we'll go through the power rankings. So stick around. We'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.